LBC seems to be losing their mind over the fact that machetes are not difficult to get and the fact that they're not illegal. Have a wee look at this.
Look at this. I'm now brandishing in front of you a 21-inch, brutal-looking black knife. It is sharp, believe you me.
Black? You racist or something? Sharp? Like any other knife or machete should be.
Terrifying.
It is terrifying.
It is terrifying. If someone approached me with that, I would think it was the end of my days.
It is one of the
Yep, and if someone approached you with a hammer or a kitchen knife, I'm sure you'd be equally as worried.
most scary things that I've ever held in my hand.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Horrific.
I bought this online for £23.49, entirely.
Right, and go to Asda and you can buy a 12-inch kitchen knife for £5. What about it? Or why not go to B&Q? You can get an alright axe for £15. What about it?
Legally, and I had it sent to this
All because
studio.
of the script or writing.
It has got no writing on it. If that had writing on it that said Zombie Hunter 5000, it would be illegal.
Right, and all that does is point how stupid the Offensive Weapons Act actually was. Many of us said a few years ago when they were actually making this legislation and in the process of passing it, this would do absolutely nothing to stop any forms of crime.
As it doesn't, it is completely legal.
So you've done nothing illegal, so you can sit in that studio opposite me with that 20-inch knife, which would kill me in seconds if you... Yeah,
Kill
absolutely.
several people.
Just like a kitchen knife, axe or hammer.
It is terrifying. But it gets worse, Nick, I'm afraid, because I've heard from several police sources, in fact, this is where the story was alerted to us, that they're turning up to raids on the properties of known violent criminals. They're finding knives just like this. But because there is no writing on the knives, the police can do nothing.
Do you know what else you'll find in the houses of known violent criminals? Kitchen knives, hammers, screwdrivers, and a whole other plethora of everyday items that can be used as a weapon. What exactly is their point?
Police officer described it to me, the legislation, as completely pointless. Now, we've also spoken to criminal lawyers who've confirmed that the loophole exists. Essentially, if you want the detail, the Offensive Weapons Act 2019 came into force in July last
It's not a loophole, it's just a really pointless law.
year. And under that, a so-called zombie knife must fit 3 key criteria. It must have a cutting edge. You can see there's a cutting edge on this knife. It must have a serrated edge. There's a serrated edge on this knife. But crucially, it must have, and I'm going to quote the legislation, images or words that suggest it is to be used for the purpose of violence. Now, to be completely clear, the loophole only exists in a...
I would like to add to that, it's actually already a criminal offence for retailers of knives to advertise any knife as being suitable for the purpose of violence.
private setting, because possession of a knife like that in public is already illegal under pre-existing other...
Correct. So there's already legislation in place to prevent the misuse of knives. What business is it of yours what someone has in a private setting?
legislation. But nonetheless, that remains legal.
As some of you may have seen there, LBC has censored the website where the knife is being sold. That's not something I'm willing to do. In fact, I'm going to go out of my way to show you the exact knife on the exact website. It's been sold on springfields.co.uk. Now, Springfields is actually quite a respectable website. They do follow the law. They won't sell a knife to anyone under 18. And it's a well-used and well-loved website by those of us who like to collect knives and buy good quality outdoor gear for camping and bushcrafting, that sort of thing. So here's the knife. It's the Charade Full Tang 21-inch machete. By the way, I don't think 21 inches refers to the cutting edge. I think that's actually the overall length. So when that's factored in, you're talking like, well, minus 5 inches of that anyway, because part of that is just the handle and the tang. So really, the cutting edge isn't that much longer than a long kitchen knife. So again, I don't see what their point is. But as you can see here, it is indeed only £23.49. And if you want one, they've got 246 left in stock, and I'm sure that would really upset LBC if there was an uptick in purchases of these
I
knives,
don't
don't you
see
think?
LBC being
If I had
upset
the money,
at the
I'd
fact
certainly
that
be
you can
buying one
buy
myself, keeping in mind that
machetes
these are
like
not
this
illegal.
one at shops such as B&Q, which would cause the same amount of damage as the knife that they have shown. Likewise, they can just go into tool shops such as Screwfix or Homebase, or even a small hardware shop on the high street and buy an axe. So again, their whole point is kind of obsolete. The same people can also get a hold of axes. Is LBC going to have a hissy fit at the availability of axes now? In conclusion, everything LBC has just said was rather pointless. There's already adequate laws in place to prevent crimes with these sort of knives, and any further legislation would just affect people who want to use knives like this legitimately. Those who use these sort of knives for camping, bushcraft, work, collection, display, that sort of thing, are not the people who would use them for violent purposes, would not use them to hurt another person. Any further laws would just affect the wrong people. Anyway, I don't think I've got anything more to say on the matter. Thanks for watching, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments.